Hello, and welcome to Symbols and Synchronicity. This is where we analyze the meaning of signs, symbols, synchronicities, and spiritual messages conveyed by the world around us. So, today, we're going to talk all about the spiritual meaning of seeing a flock of birds fly overhead. We've probably all had that feeling of spiritual significance when a flock of birds suddenly catches our eye, right? Well, we're going to analyze the possible meanings you can take from such an encounter. And to make it super easy, we've broken down the spiritual meaning of a flock of birds into 5 digestible points. Meaning number 1, a flock of birds can represent good luck. Seeing a flock of birds can be taken as a sign of very good luck to come. This is because the birds are seen as chatty messengers linking the celestial with the earthbound. That is, we see birds as the bringers of good news, of divine news. So, when you see a flock of birds flying overhead, cheer up, because you never know, maybe some good news is coming your way. Meaning number 2, interconnectedness and your place in the community. Birds flock together for mutual benefit. Specifically, they're able to better protect each other and themselves by forming large groups. More pairs of eyes means a better chance of spotting predators. And when a hawk does try to come after the flock, it's more difficult for the hawk to zero in on one victim when the whole flock is ducking, weaving, and moving seamlessly as one. Additionally, sometimes a flock can even work together to overwhelm and repel a predator. And so, we're talking a lot about nature so far, and that's important because that's where we extract our spiritual meaning from. In this case, a flock of birds can represent you and your role in your communities. And communities can mean any group you're a part of. Maybe it's at home with family, or at work with colleagues, or it could be school, or just your group of friends. So remember, birds chirp and tweet at each other when in a flock to coordinate their movement. And so think about it. In your communities, are your lines of communication clear, open, and functional? Because if not, you could be losing out on some of the benefits of being part of a group, protection, support, and the strength of being united. So, maybe take the sighting of a flock of birds as a cue to reflect on your role in your various communities. Meaning number 3, connection between the celestial and the grounded. Since time immemorial, we've seen the earth as the mortal realm and the beautiful sky above us as the heavenly realm. This is relevant whenever analyzing the spiritual meaning of birds, because unlike us humans, birds are able to travel between the ground and the sky, existing in both realms as they please. Therefore, the sighting of a flock of birds represents a powerful connection, a sort of bridge between the spiritual and physical realms, reminding us to take time to nurture our spiritual well-being in the knowledge that we are being watched over. Meaning number 4, a sign of major change to come. At certain times of year, usually spring and fall, birds form gigantic flocks in order to make significant migrations together. And this is where we take our 4th spiritual meaning. Flocks of birds, especially in the spring and autumn, can be taken as omens of incoming change. How the change might manifest is, of course, difficult to predict. Sure, it could be quite literal. Perhaps you will migrate to a new home the same way the birds do. However, it could be much more subtle. Perhaps you'll have a change of perspective that ultimately leads to bigger changes in your life. But remember, don't fret too much, because after all, when flocks of birds migrate, they're doing it to bring about positive change, not negative change. That is, they're seeking out a better reality for themselves, and so this is the sort of change they represent. And lastly, we've reached number 5, a flock of birds as a symbol of freedom. The feeling of being free to do whatever we want is a wonderful thing. It's the kind of thing that just makes your soul glow. But freedom is always limited by something. And that's a philosophical question as much as it is a spiritual question. After all, what is freedom? The freedom to live in peace? The freedom to make decisions for ourselves? Or how about the freedom to go where we please? And that last question about having the freedom to go where we please is where the symbolism of a flock of birds comes into it. Because, unlike us humans, birds have the ability to just up and fly away whenever they feel like it. So that ability to just fly away is what makes birds such potent symbols of freedom. So if you've seen a flock of birds flying over and felt as though it might be a message from an unseen source, then maybe you're being reminded of the importance of freedom. What that means to you, though, will require reflection. So remember, you should think of ways to value your freedom and the freedom of others. So, that's it. We've been through our 5 points. So it's time to draw some conclusions. Together, we've learned that the spiritual significance of seeing a flock of birds encompasses a range of symbolic meanings. It signifies good luck and positive tidings, highlights the importance of community and mutual interaction, encourages a connection with the spiritual realm, foreshadows impending changes, and symbolizes the promise of freedom from life's constraints. These interpretations offer a poetic lens through which one can view the presence of these celestial messengers in our earthly lives. And so, if you've enjoyed learning about the spiritual meaning of a flock of birds, then please consider giving our video a like. It really helps us out. And if you really enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing because we post new videos about spiritual meanings every week. You might enjoy them. Well, thanks for watching, and we hope to have you back in the future.